So, Marcella, tell us about why you started offering tours in Slovakia.
That's a very interesting question. I have started this business with offering tours to Slovakia 21 years ago in 2004. At that time, I was a farmer's daughter and I was really dreaming about traveling, about becoming a flight attendant, but I didn't even have a passport because I was growing up in a communistic country where we didn't have possibility to travel. And as soon as this all changed and we were able to get the passport, that was my first idea to travel as much as possible, to guide the people. I have established a guiding certificate first, creating a company so I could create the lifetime travel memories for my clients. That is my goal.
And I know that you have been offering Christmas market tours. Where did the idea come to offer Christmas market tours in Slovakia and four different countries that we are joining you in?
Actually, I was during COVID visiting Croatia, where I do spend a lot of time, also my private time. And at that time, Zagreb Christmas Market been announced as the best Christmas market of Europe again, because it won several years in a row as the best Christmas market. And I was thinking, this is underrated, the city, because nobody has really expectations from Zagreb. It's very similar than Bratislava, a city of about 600,000 people. The Christmas markets are fantastic. The combination of the red and white color everywhere and the beauty how it is made and the authenticity, it really got me, and I have decided this should be the start of our Christmas market tour in all Europe.
That's the beautiful thing about the trips that we love offering. We want to offer things that show these hidden gems. I feel like a lot of people may think when they think Christmas markets in Europe, they think Germany, but we're not going to Germany. We're going to these hidden gems and the unique places. What do you think are the most unique things about the Christmas markets that we're going to be visiting on this itinerary with you?
I think that it's exactly as you said. It's very different from the very known Christmas markets, for example. One of the major difference is it is less crowded. Less crowded, less international, more authentic, I would say. Also, much less discovered. And because of that, you find there some intimate Christmas atmosphere on this Christmas market. They are also more affordable, definitely, especially the smaller Christmas markets are much more affordable. And you find a lot of local folklorial traditions there. So it is simply different to those big and known Christmas markets.
What do you think are the things that are going to surprise our travelers most when they go to those Christmas markets?
I think that there will be in each destination little something. Like in Zagreb, there is these white and red colors everywhere. Also that the food and the drink Christmas markets are in some parts separate. So you have one section which is just about the food and one section that is about the drink. And then there is this warm gin, what I have there. That's something fantastic. I never thought that a warm gin could be so tasteful. Then for others, for example, in Bratislava, a nice surprise for the visitors is the ice skating rink in front of the opera house. They really like this picture because this is only coming there for Christmas. Then in Vienna, they love the tree with so many red heart everywhere and they love taking the pictures there. But also a very cute Christmas market is by Schönbrunn, which is the summer residence of the Maria Theresia Habsburg. That is a real palace atmosphere. So you have a Christmas market by palace. And Ljubljana, that is a Christmas market where the river and so many bridges are always part of it because you do zigzag always through the river on the bridge one side and go on the other side. So the river is always part and it's very close. In these smaller cities, you don't have to walk so many hours to get to visit it because the cities are smaller, more intimate, and that's why it's not so far away.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when you see itineraries that are built to maybe go to Europe to keep the price down, a lot of times things that are excluded. Maybe you're just having one main event of the day and not a lot of other things in the itinerary. And I think that's the beautiful thing that we've worked with you on this is that we have a jam-packed itinerary so that we can really see a lot and walk away knowing that we've experienced the countries. But we also have some downtime because we know that this is leading up to Christmas. We want everyone to have time to explore, to be able to shop, and to be able to spend some time in the markets too. So that's something that I think is really special because everyone will be able to go shopping and take home these treats and things that they'll buy in the markets.
Yes, exactly as you say. We like to give them the time to enjoy, not only to be rushed all the time.
And one of the things that we're going to be doing is not just going to attractions, but meeting locals and being able to do things like taking classes. Can you talk a little bit about the things that we're going to be able to do in the itinerary that are a little bit more focused on meeting the locals and being a part of the local community?
Yes, we are going to have a lot of activities which are built into the program and that are already included. And of course, this will be also meeting the locals as part of this experience. For example, we will be doing a tasting tour for desserts, for Christmas time desserts at the Christmas market in Zagreb. But then we will also do a tour in Vienna, which will include the tasting of local coffee called melange. It's not cappuccino. It's a little bit different and it's only be able to drink in Austria. You will find on the drink list melange coffee. So that's a very nice experience. We will be doing strudel show and these older ladies that are showing how to make the strudel in an old-fashioned way. That's really something. Taking the videos, how they make it and try to repeat it in your home. That's really nice. And then a very local atmosphere will be on the local food market in Vienna called Naschmarkt. Naschmarkt is a combination of all the local cultures and cuisines living in Vienna. That's going to be also very nice. And then finally will be the local people, especially the head cook and some assistant cook in the cooking school in Bratislava, which the cooking school, we are going to have a first class technology kitchen with the presentation of potten and pannen, latest German designs for all of the kitchen stuff. So you really will have a cooking class, the highest level of technology, everything that can be done. And of course, we will be cooking some Christmas dishes there.
And I think, the heart of what we do is food, right? We make food the attraction because what better way to travel than to experience all these unique recipes, things that you can go back home because they themselves have never learned from their grandma how to make the recipes. And so this is their chance to do exactly that. And for those that have been on our tours before, we started offering tours in Milwaukee and then we expanded to Chicago and to Detroit. And one of the things we love most is Christmas. And one of the tours that we love doing most in those cities is a Christmas bakery bus tour. So I think that's really how all of our itinerary planning started with you, is that we really wanted that tour to be able to go and see all the different desserts. And so that personally for me is what I'm most excited about on the itinerary, to be able to go and sample all the desserts through the town. And then of course the strudel making. I think there's just going to be nothing more authentic than enjoying strudel in probably 4 different countries on this trip. So we're excited about that. Talk a little bit about what we should be packing and what we should be thinking about before taking the trip.
I would say that yes, of course, a warm jacket and hat and gloves would be a good idea, and also warm shoes. But it's not like it used to be 20 years ago when there was a half-meter snow in these big cities. Like in Zagreb, that's considered to be Southern Europe almost. So it's not that cold. And thinking about the centigrades, it's definitely above zero. So it's not freezing cold, and it's going to be a nice winter atmosphere for sure. But you don't have to be dressed like for the Scandinavia, for sure not. Then what you should bring, it would be definitely courage to taste everything. And sometimes the people ask me, and what about if I have some dietary requirements? You know what? It's not such a catastrophe anymore. We are offering more and more bakeries that nowadays they have gluten-free bakery. So even if your guest would have this kind of requirements, we are able to help them and they will be not hungry on this tour. I didn't even think how greatly we have chosen it, because all 4 countries we are going to, they all have euro currency. So it's going to be so easy as we go along. You don't need anything else, just euro as a cash to have with you or a credit card. But when we go to the local food markets and street markets, it would be good to have some little cash as well in euro currency. And then your passport, when you will use it by arrival to Europe, the next time you will only need by departure, because all these countries, there is no borders and no stops between the borders.
Perfect. That's good. You touched a little bit on my next question, was is traveling through Central Europe, what kind of things can the travelers expect?
I would say that it is now in Central Europe, the flavor of the modern countries is already here, but still with a little bit laid back atmosphere from the old times. So now we are still in a time when there is still some communistic history for some couple years, and then it will be over, because some of the older people now, which are 80, 90 years old, they were still living in this regime. I was the last generation living in this regime when I was a child. We still have a lot of foodies from this time and so on. So this is different from the Western Europe. Also, the dynamic of life, I think it's a little bit different, because we still tend to spend a lot of time together like families. We don't move so much away, like thousands of kilometers away. The families like to be close to each other and help each other with children when they are small, or then when the seniors are old, they need the help. So here it's not so popular that the generations will be living several time zones from each other. They prefer to be closer, and we still share the local recipes, the grandma's recipes, and so on. We still tend to cook a lot at home. The weekend comes, and Sunday lunch, it must be always together. So all the family members should get together, even it would be meaning like 1 or 2 hours drive. They would drive to Mom for Sunday lunch.
Love that. Love that. And we will be a part of that and feel that and experience that. I think this trip is unique because it's for the Christmas time and the holidays. And I feel like a lot of times people might just travel more in the summertime, but this is unique because we're doing it in the wintertime to be able to experience the holidays. And so I'm curious why it's meaningful for you to be able to show off these countries for the holiday season.
I think that it's exactly the same reason, because the world changes a little bit when the Christmas is approaching. And so the colors are changing, the aromas are changing, how the streets look like with all of the Christmas atmosphere, the windows of the people, of their homes. So it's really one of the best times to show. Also, the people are mostly at home. They don't travel that much as in the summer. So they come to the streets, and almost every evening we have some live program on the squares, even in smaller cities. Not to mention that, of course, in Zagreb, Ljubljana, Vienna or Bratislava, it's every evening during Advent, these 4 weeks before Christmas Day. We have something happening, and so the people tend to go to streets after work for a drink, for a nice snack instead of dinner. So it's simply a time when we do gather and meet each other. And I think this is the nicest time to show you that we would like to welcome you, to show you how we live.
It sounds so magical, and we just can't wait. Do you want to walk us through the itinerary a little bit?
Oh, I would like to tell you maybe a little bit about that, what each country has a little special on the Christmas market, because of course this itinerary, it's like a Christmas markets of all Europe, and these cities all belong to the old Habsburg cities. So it has something together with the Habsburg monarchy. But for the food, it's interesting that it's also a little different. So for example, in Slovakia, in Bratislava, we have for food special something which is called in Slovak lokše. In English, it's a potato flatbread filled with cabbage, duck fat, or it could even be sweet version with poppy seed. And then we have a cake which is called štedrák in Slovak, or in English generous cake. And this generous cake, it usually includes a layer of the dough and then traditional fillings like a poppy seed, walnut, plum jam, and the cottage cheese or quark. And this štedrák means that everything has to be a lot, even too much, because štedrák really means that we want to give to us and to our family members the most. So you have the chance to taste this at the Christmas market. And for the drink, we drink something which is called medovina. And medovina is warm honey wine, or called med. And this med, Slovakia has a very special position in the world, because several years in the last 5 years, in the whole world competition, we are winning as the best med in the world. So this would be something you would taste. Then for Austria, I would say that in Vienna, you definitely need to try. It's called Leberkäse in German, and it's a kind of meatloaf in a bun with mustard or with the ketchup. And then they have also the candied almonds, or gebrannte Mandeln in German. And for drink, Orangenpunsch, which is the orange and punch together, and it's very nice in hot drink. Then in Ljubljana, you have something similar to Slovakia. They have sweet honey liquor as the main drink, and then they have a special pastry which is called potica. That's a rolled nut pastry, very tasteful, definitely needed to taste. And then in Zagreb, they have a pickled cabbage leaves stuffed with minced meat, which is called sarma, that is also traditional in Romania, for example. And for the drink, they have rakia, and rakia, that's a schnapps, fruit brandy, which could be a plum or could be a pear brandy, and they drink it cold or hot, depending on the situation.
I'm ready for it all. And I think as Americans, we have Christmas markets in America, but on a much smaller scale or much more commercialized scale. Everything else that you're describing is so authentic and something that I just have not experienced in America. So I know that we're really excited about experiencing that. And when we're at the markets, I'm curious, what kind of unique things will people be able to find, to buy, to bring home?
So I would say that, for example, in Slovakia, we have a very traditional ceramics, which is handicrafted, and it is either white and blue, which is called Modra ceramics. That comes from the city called Modra, and Modra means blue. That's why it's white and blue. It's very beautiful. Then I would say that from Austria, most of the time people love to take home the Mozartkugel, which is a very special chocolate, which is filled inside, and it has the name Mozart because of the composer Mozart. And of course, Sacher cake could be taken home as well. That could be a good idea. And then in Zagreb, for example, I would definitely also do like a typical fashion shopping. They have so many great Croatian designers. By location of the country, together with Slovenia, they are very close to Italy. And because of that, they have this sense of fashion, definitely. But they also have this Balkan feeling. So there are different materials these things are made from. So I would definitely do also this kind of shopping. And they have excellent shopping street in Zagreb. Like we also have, of course, the shopping malls as you are used to in North America. But for us still, the shopping on the street is more traditional. And especially for Christmas time, we really love it. Like we go on the Saturday and we sit outside with the heater and have a Saturday coffee with friends. Then we go and shop here something, there something. In between you have some snack here, snack there. You finish it with lunch with friends, with glass of wine, and then you go home. Your
A
day
perfect
is already
way.
beautiful.
It's a perfect way to spend time together with friends and family on this trip. So thank you, thank you. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing about this trip. And we're really excited for our guests to be able to come and meet with you and your team and be able to see these amazing countries for Old Europe for Christmas this year. Thank you.
And so am I. I'm awaiting you. And thank you very much for giving our destination the opportunity and offering it to your client. Have a nice day.